This week on Dine Drink CLE, the podcast.
Recently, Melt has declared for bankruptcy protection, Chapter 11, and it's going to be interesting how they come out of this.
Flights where you get the little flavors, and they have delicious flavors. They have like amarena, cherry, grapefruit, and it tastes like fruit. Like it's like legit.
I'm never going to be a skinny man, am I? I'm sad.
The music is just as big of a part as the drinks. So they're going to have a high quality stereo to play vinyl records. They're going to have a huge bar with just all their vinyls, and it's going to be like part of the experience.
Said that the Kelces are going to be very involved in this, from brewing.
I'm Josh Duke.
And I'm Alex Darus.
And you're either watching or listening to Dine Drink CLE, the podcast, where each and every week we're going to be joined by cleveland.com's best and brightest food experts, insiders, and influencers talking all things food and drink here in the Northeast Ohio area. What are we talking about today, Alex?
Lots to talk about today. It's very hot outside, as anyone in Greater Cleveland can tell. So we're going to talk about ice cream because, of course, it's summer. We got a few new bars in the Northeast Ohio area, kind of cool cocktail bars worth keeping on our radar. And we have some news from Melt and the Kelce brothers investing in some Ohio beer. But first, we have Peter Chakerian here to talk ice cream. Yeah. So I guess it is summer. I'm putting together, I think I have over 30 something places right now for ice cream. Mm-hmm. What are your guys' favorite Greater Cleveland ice cream shops?
I mean, you can't really go wrong with Mason's Creamery. I think that's going to be at the top of anyone's list in Northeast Ohio. I mean, and at least in the top three
you like
conversations.
Mason's?
Yeah,
Do you
like
get the
Mason's.
corn dogs?
No, not really. Just go there for the ice cream for the most part.
What about you, Pete?
I do like the ramen there too, so I will do that. But they have a coconut and green tea ice cream that I really like, and I've never had anything quite like it anywhere else. So that's definitely on my summer bucket list.
They do banana bread splits. It's like a banana split, but it's in like banana bread. Very delicious.
It sounds good.
Yeah, but I don't know. I love I feel like there's Mitchell's, there's Jenny's, there's Honey Hut, there's East Coast Custard. There's a few of these places that have multiple. Not really Jenny's in Northeast Ohio, but multiple locations, and people always kind of argue over what's the best.
Yeah, I think Mitchell's is up there too, for sure. Yeah,
I'm a big fan of all of it. I mean, I want to make sure that I hit all of them during this, especially during the summer. But yeah, I'm looking forward to all of it. Mitchell's obviously is going to rise to the top of a lot of people's lists, particularly because they have their flagship right off of 25th. It's like you can't miss it. Mm-hmm. I love the fresh strawberry over there, and y'all remember I did a column a couple of months ago about the Blue Cosmo ice cream, which is just for me, it's just a real interesting throwback to simpler times. But they've got some other just incredible flavors there, and the one that they just broke out that I love during the summer, and you can only get it for like a minute, is their lavender honey ice cream. And if you haven't had it, you need to try it. It's really good because it's going to be gone in a couple weeks.
Yeah. No, Jenny's has some good seasonal ones this year too. I think they have burnt orange creamsicle is one, and another one's like a sparkling cherry pie situation. And Jenny's ice creams are so good. Like I get it. Like Mitchell's is Cleveland, Jenny's is like Columbus, I think, but Jenny's ice creams are so good.
They are good, and the flavor combinations that they come up with are quite unique.
Like their cake, anything with cake in it that they make is so good. But I mean, there's so many other places too. I know you're working on a column, I don't think it's come out yet, about Weber's.
Yeah, I'm doing a column about Weber's and Rosati's. Those are the only two locations out there in Northeast Ohio right now that are purportedly delivering a Higbee's chocolate malted style frozen custard. I've had them both. They are a little bit different from one another. I think Rosati's, which is located in Brecksville and Northfield Center, that right now is edging out for me. I may have to go back to Weber's in Fairview Park and try it again.
I'm a diehard Weber's person too.
I do like the Weber's a lot, but there was something unique about Rosati's. It's got that like Whoppers malted milk ball kind of finish to it, like that flavor profile, and it was really hitting the right way when I had it. So I'm feeling it right now.
Yeah, I'm sure you'll go into it in the column, but the history of the Higbee malt, can you tell us a little bit about that?
Higbee malt essentially was something that they had at their like a snack counter in the department store. It was something that kids of a certain age, slightly older than myself, although I did get in on the tail end of it, got to enjoy during the summers. It was just like something you had to have and had to do. And the key component to all of it is malted, like malt powder, so malted milk powder. So, and that has a very, everybody does theirs in a kind of a unique way, but it's got condensed milk, powdered condensed milk as sort of the key component in it, along with wheat. So it gives this very sort of, it imparts this very sort of nutty, toasty, ever so slightly, like almost like buttered toast kind of finish. And it sounds like I'm describing wine, but honestly, it's really what separates it from just your run-of-the-mill chocolate.
I've never known what malt is, and I love malt. I'm like, I know, like, it's the powder, you see it, but no, I didn't know it was sweetened condensed milk. Yeah, but that, I guess I have to go to Rosati's then and try the other one. Somewhere I went recently, which is always a stop for me in the summer, is Mally's. I have to get a banana split at Mally's. It's like classic. Their hot fudge is the best.
You know, talking about ice cream staying cool in this hot weather. Also, we need to talk about milkshakes maybe a little bit, because there's this place in Lakewood called Addicted, I think. Have you heard of it? Oh my God. Just completely loaded with the most ridiculous items. So you'll have like a lollipop sticking out of your milkshake.
There's another place called Bulldogs in Brooklyn that does some freak shakes like that. They're on the list.
Yeah, these things are giant, colossal beasts. I mean, I don't know if you can finish it all by yourself, but worth a try if you want something at least that looks.
Are you more of a milkshake than a ice cream?
Yeah, I think I definitely am, because I don't know what it is, but growing up through my years, I used to be like addicted. no pun intended, but I used to be addicted to ice cream like as a kid. But now, as an older, pushing XXX age, I don't know. I don't have as much of a desire to get ice cream anymore. But what I do love though, and I was going to ask you guys about this. You guys are the
You're probably going to ask the same question I was going to ask.
Well, I was going to say my favorite like type of ice cream, basic. I don't really like to load it with like too much, but my favorite ice cream is the Superman.
No, not what I was going to ask at all.
I didn't think
nonsense.
So.
It's vanilla.
Yeah, I was going to ask you,
it's
like,
vanilla.
what is the difference? Because when
it's colors. It's for children to make them more appealed to eat it.
The Superman tastes different to me. I don't know. Whenever I get a Superman,
it's psychological.
Maybe
Josh.
it is. I was going to ask.
Okay,
well, you guys would know. It's
what I
vanilla.
was going to ask is, because I also have some places on the list like 808 Shave Ice and Mount Granita Italian Ice. What do we think? Are we like ice cream people? Do we like snow cones, Italian ice? Like, what is your preferred frozen treat in the summer? A popsicle?
I don't know. My physique would tell you I'm equal opportunity on that. I'm all about all kinds of frozen. Give me all of it, please.
I think the classic like icy trademark brand ices are the best. I don't know do you know what I'm talking about?
Yes.
I know. I'm picking up what you're throwing down.
The blue and the cherry like mixed together. Those are the best. I know that's not quite what you were asking.
A gas station slushie.
Yes, exactly.
That's your death row frozen treat.
Absolutely. Those are the best, especially at a movie. Oh my God.
No,
Come on. Nothing beats it.
I'm usually an ice cream person, but I went to Mount Granita recently, and they do like flights where you can get the little flavors, and they have delicious flavors. They have like amarena, cherry, grapefruit, and it tastes like fruit. Like, it's like legit.
I'm never going to be a skinny man, am I? I'm sad.
Not in this line of work.
But one recommendation, I feel like we brought this up multiple times that you've given me recently that I just love is at La Playa Seafood.
La Playa.
La Playa. I'm sorry.
La Playa.
La Playa. At La Playa Seafood, they have this soft serve ice cream kind of margarita that is just delicious. So
you'll only eat Superman ice cream or a spiked soft serve margarita.
I never said only, but those are some really good options for me.
Oh my God. Oh, another place I did want to mention too in Slavic Village is Daisy's on Fleet. They're like an old school ice cream stand that was brought back, I think, last summer. But I don't know if they'll do it this year, but last year they had like a sweet and salty sundae, and it had like chips, pretzels, caramel. Like, it was so good. Like, I sat there. I didn't even really, like, I was like doing a story. I'll get an ice cream sundae. Like, I'll eat a little bit. I ate the whole thing. I was like, it was so good. So
I'm not sure I could go that far with it. That sounds like it sounds a little bit like the milkshakes you were describing, which remind me of those Bloody Marys where they like stick a whole fried chicken on the top of it, and you got
more is more, Pete.
More is more. It is true. No, I feel like back to your Honey Hut comment too. I want to shout out to them for their honey pecan ice cream, which I absolutely love. And I don't like nuts in my ice cream necessarily. I like it on a sundae on the side is fine too, but there's something about that combination that really works. And then I guess I would also say Tofts. To the west of us does a fair number of Cedar Point inspired ice creams, and they kind of make their way this way. So I do like those, and Handles is out on the east of us as well. So there's always something to find here if you're really feeling inspired to go look for it.
No, just from like trying to put this list together, I'm like, you could go get ice cream every single day from a different shop all summer and maybe not hit them all.
You know what? I wonder why. Well, maybe this exists, maybe it's happened, but why doesn't like a Honey Hut, a Mitchell's, a Mason's do like an ice cream truck that travels around just like we normally see the more so generic trucks in the neighborhood?
It's a good question. I think at one point, and I don't know whether this is pre-COVID or not, but at one point I remembered reading a story that Pierre's was actually going to do that. Oh. And I don't know how that landed. So Pierre's, email me, call me.
Let us know.
Let us know what you're doing about that, because I want to say around 2019 I had heard that was going to be a thing. And then I think like all the best laid plans, COVID kind of upended it. So.
But no, that's actually good. They should elevate the ice cream truck because we've had the same options forever. It's like get some real stuff in there.
Would you rather go for an ice cream sandwich or a strawberry shortcake ice cream stick bar? I don't know what you would call that exactly.
A Choco Taco is what I order.
Yes, the Choco Taco.
That's the only right answer.
It really is a brilliant thing. They're so good.
I saw I should have looked it up. A restaurant did like a gourmet version of a Choco Taco, and I was like, I need it now. I need it right now.
We need to talk offline about that because I want one.
Well, because think about it. That's the worst part of the Choco Taco is if it's been sitting in the truck, then like the shell gets like soft. But if it was really crunchy, like that would be so good. We need to go get ice cream after this. This is going to be a problem.
Yeah, this is feeling like a problem.
Okay, one final question. If you had to pick one ice cream flavor to eat for the rest of your life, what would you pick?
Well, I feel like you can't go wrong with vanilla or Superman. You can't go wrong with vanilla.
Tomatoes.
You can't go wrong with vanilla. It's always going to be there for you, no matter where you go.
Boo. It is hard.
I like the way you're thinking, though, because of the toppings angle of everything. You can kind of do whatever, whenever with it.
You
so
can
I
put
get
strawberries on it, and there you go. You got strawberry.
I didn't say toppings. Basically. I didn't say you get toppings in this hypothetical scenario.
Sorry, Josh. I'm just trying to help you out here. I don't know. For me, it's Mitchell's caramel sea salt ice cream. I can eat that anytime, day or night. And if I'm in the mood for a milkshake, I have them turn it into a milkshake, and I have them put malt powder in it.
I'm gonna literally go do that on the way home.
Go to your Mitchell's and tell them you want the Pete special and see if.
Let's rename it.
Yeah, right.
A few years ago for cleveland.com pre-COVID, I tried all the Mitchell's flavors and ranked them, and my favorite, and I think it still is the caramel fudge brownie one because they have really good. They make their brownies. It has that caramel. It's a little salty. But I don't know. It's hard. And now I'm mad I even asked that question.
Yeah. No. I hear brownie. I'm like, the best thing to pair with a brownie is some vanilla ice cream. Like,
yeah, but what if it's in it? It's in it.
Vanilla ice cream?
Yes, it's vanilla ice cream with brownie chunks and caramel swirl.
This feels like tangential, but I was at Super Electric Pinball the other day, and they have the Sweet Moses ice cream.
I was just thinking about the terminal tower there. Remember the big?
Oh, that was so good. One of my favorites. In any event, if you haven't been to Super Electric Pinball Parlor, which is located in the Gordon Square area, they have the Sweet Moses sign in its glory hanging up from the ceiling. So if you want to go and pay your respects for one of the fallen ice cream comrades, by all means do it.
That place was so good.
It was.
Now I'm sad.
Sorry.
Okay, so what is the difference between just regular ice cream and custard, and where can you find some around Greater Cleveland that's pretty good?
Well, it's the egg yolk component that sort of separates custard from ice cream. That's not prevalent in your run-of-the-mill ice cream, but custard has got egg yolks in it, and it lends itself to like a depth of flavor. And they're
like matte, like it's like thicker.
Yeah, it definitely does something for the texture of it too. Makes it a little bit creamier, makes it thicker. And it's a very popular item in Cleveland too, given that, a lot of people think about Euclid Beach and the custard that used to get served out there. So that's another sort of thing I'm angling on for the Classically Eats and Drinks column in the near future. But East Coast Original is kind of a big deal around these parts. And obviously Weber's and Rosati's are serving frozen custard too. There are other places in the Northeast Ohio area that are pretty popular for that sort of thing too. So,
all right, so now we have Paris here, and you guys, Paris and Alex, you guys have been checking out some new bars around the town. So what's going on with these new bars? What should we?
Spirited women to heart, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I recently wrote about a new bar coming to West Park called Bad Medicine. It was another one of these pop-up concepts turned brick and mortar from Adam McDaniel and Brian Tarakis. They're two new, like it's their first bar restaurant concept together, but it's really cool because they're calling it a hi-fi listening bar. So the drinks are going to be hugely important. They say you're going to get the coldest martini in town there. They're going to have clear ice, which sounds like nothing, but it's actually really hard to like make clear ice and all this other stuff. But the listening, the music is just as big of a part as the drinks. So they're going to have a high quality stereo to play vinyl records. They're going to have a huge bar with just all their vinyls, and it's going to be like part of the experience. And it was based off of this concept in Japan. There's like in the post-war period, people would go to these listening bars and drink coffee or tea and hear new albums because that's how you would hear stuff. And then the concept kind of spread, and in a lot of big cities in the US like New York or LA, they have like these listening cocktail bars where they call them hi-fi bars, but Cleveland doesn't have any, but now we're going to have one. And it's just cool because I know Paris has recently wrote some stories about some very different cocktail bar concepts, and it feels like Cleveland's really exploding and evolving in the cocktail bar
so
scene.
People are developing niche cocktail bars that address, they're a little more specialized and address maybe a special interest or.
Yeah. So why don't you tell us a little bit about Cloak and Dagger's Writer's Room?
Cloak and Dagger is opening the Writer's Room later this summer, and it will be a members only bar, and it's going to be like Cloak and Dagger, kind of dark and noir and, dimly lit and mysterious, but you have to become a member.
How much is it to become a member?
It's like $100 a month.
Oh, it sounds very
And then you
bougie.
buy drinks on top of it?
Yes.
Okay.
But you get to bring certain number of people with you. You get, I think, a birthday drink. There are certain benefits to it.
Yeah, very exclusive.
Yeah, that sounds a little bougie. What is their cocktails like?
Their cocktails at Cloak and Dagger in general are just like
very creative,
extremely impressive. Like stuff you're not even gonna. I feel like Cloak and Dagger, LBM, and then I know we had talked about it because we were like, what was the first?
The first one was probably that led the way along 28 years ago was Velvet Tango Room.
Yeah, like they kind of.
But they were doing all the classic cocktails plus some creative, innovative stuff.
I feel like they started like developing the cocktail scene in Cleveland, and then these other places like LBM and Cloak and Dagger really started making inventive drinks, like kind of not feeling the need to. I'm sure if you go there, they'll make you like a martini or whatever, but their menu is very specialized and they change all the time.
They infuse their own syrups. They might infuse their own vodkas. They use very unusual ingredients.
Yeah.
They might use herbs. Just a lot of different.
And now I feel like
products.
these are taking it a step further where it's like you're going to have these elevated cocktails, but in even more specific experiences, whether it's like for music lovers and you want to hear high quality kind of soundtracked and it matches the vibe. Like they don't know what they're going to play. It's going to soundtrack like the evening.
I was going to ask you that. So you don't know what kind of music that they're going to be playing.
They like to say it's like a rock and roll attitude. So classic rock, but then, I mean, they were saying like some bands like Soundgarden are considered classic rock from which, whatever. But they kind of do a little bit of everything. Like I know they said at some of the pop-ups they were playing like a Tribe Called Quest or MF Doom or kind of these like alternative hip hop, like a little bit of everything. And they were saying too, what was funny at the events is they would kind of bring a few records just to be like, I don't know if we're going to play these or what. And they ended up bringing them out because it just kind of fit. Like they don't want to bring the mood of the room down. It's very like curated too.
Interesting.
I have to ask. They're gonna call Soundgarden classic rock.
No,
How old are
they?
How old are they?
They were saying that as they were like, yeah, people call Soundgarden classic rock, and we laugh at that. Like they are saying it as a joke. So they were pointing fun at that. The classic rock genre is very expansive nowadays.
Okay.
Well, that matches the whole Rock and Roll Hall of Fame issue that people have, that it just invites all the genres, and some people think it shouldn't, but whatever. That just
no
maps
fighting on
onto
that
Cleveland.
right now. But also, Paris, you are writing a story about Maxie's.
Maxie's has opened the Black Cherry Room in their upstairs. It's only open on Fridays
That's
and
in Little
Saturdays.
Italy.
In Little Italy. It's only open on Fridays and Saturdays. I suspect one of the reasons is they get very crowded and they need overflow space. But they're going to be doing craft cocktails, light appetizers, and wine.
So is it a different menu than Maxie's?
Yes.
Oh, so it's its whole own concept.
Yeah, it's later.
And none of these are like speakeasy concepts at all, right? Because it gives like some of the creativeness.
You
of
want everything to be a
but
speakeasy.
I do.
So
I do
bad.
too.
But-
I do too. But that's
Yeah.
the Cleveland version of speakeasy, I think, in some respects.
Cleveland wants to be low key about it. I feel like so. Like what's the other bar in Little Italy? Centini. That's kind of like in the alley, around the corner. If you know, kind of thing.
Right.
Like,
And they're putting a bar. They're spreading the patio outside now. I'm going there this weekend. I'm going to check out and see if they've put up new signage and if they're moving, how big their patio is.
Yeah.
If we have nice weather.
But even that's another cocktail bar that's kind of more focused on the Amaros, which I know we've kind of went into them here before. But it's very cool to see these, like you said,
Very
niche concepts like for cocktails. I mean, especially because another place like Porco kind of brought like the tiki thing, but there's so many other concepts you can have with a bar, like and with drinks. Like I think people kind of think like, oh, the food is where you kind of put your expression at, but some of these places that don't even have like robust food menus,
craft cocktails are becoming chef driven.
100%.
The mixologists are chefs as well.
Yeah, I know at Bad Medicine they said because the space was really pretty good to go. Like they had to do cosmetic updates, but the big thing that they have to update, they were like, we don't need to touch the kitchen, but we need to make the bar more cocktail friendly just because the scale of what they're doing is not the average bar. You know what I mean?
I have to tell you, I was just in Columbus and I was at Watershed Distillery and they have a really great mixologist and they stole him from Cleveland and took him to Columbus because they wanted someone who could craft some really great cocktails.
So maybe Cleveland really is
maybe we are a trendsetter.
So we just got to keep drinking and find out, I guess.
Alcoholics.
Hey, we're professionals over here, okay? But yeah, no, I just feel like too, it's very cool to see Cleveland getting all these concepts that, I don't know, we're all on social media and stuff, and we see New York or LA, they'll have, oh, that's a really cool bar concept, or even like the Verbena non-alcoholic bar.
But
That's
it's
such
artistic.
Yeah, that's such a like New York or LA thing, but it's like Cleveland has a lot of these things that I don't know if a lot of other cities have, especially
They're
drinking
growing.
wise.
I saw the Beard Awards was expanding their involvement in the mixology scene.
Oh,
They are growing the unique craft cocktail mixologist chef concept.
Yeah. Well, have you guys seen? There's a show on Netflix called Drink Masters.
I have seen it. I have not. I don't think I've watched.
You should watch it.
But
It's
I've definitely
so
seen
good.
it pop up. You know.
But it's like those cooking shows, but they have to make drinks and they get like an hour and a half to work on a cocktail and things that they're doing. And the guy was like infusing hay, like using hay, like for horses,
sure,
like
okay.
into
I can see
a
that.
drink. And it's like, what the hell is this?
I could see that.
It's crazy.
I'd
But,
like to see that in real time.
well, go to one of these
For
bars
sure.
and it's kind of like a mini version of it, I
Yeah,
think.
we should have them all compete.
I'll make our own
We'll do our
drink
own
masters.
competition.
Yeah.
We'll judge.
Oh God, I mean, it might be tough to judge by the last drink. But yeah, so lots of new, fun, exciting news in the cocktail scene, and we're still doing our Spirited Women Distillery series, so plenty of booze news at cleveland.com. And now we're joined by Marc Bona, who recently just broke some sad news about Melt filing for bankruptcy. So Marc, tell us what's going on with Melt.
Yeah, this was a shame. It's been kind of a rough year for Melt. Melt Bar and Grill started 18 years ago. It's hard to imagine that, but it has. Matt Fish founded it. He's the president of the company, and, really just hit upon I thought, a very cool concept. A very simple sandwich that we all know and love and have tried. Who doesn't like grilled cheese?
Mm-hmm.
He ramped it up, made it really what I like to call designer grilled cheese, and put a special emphasis on really good craft beer selections at a time when craft breweries were also just kind of really getting bigger. And it's a shame. I think this year hit some tough times. He has cited economic challenges. In January, the Avon location closed, and then there was the Independence location closing about a month ago, a little over a month ago, and then there have been some lawsuits with allegations of unpaid rent. Well, recently, Melt has declared for bankruptcy protection, Chapter 11. And it's going to be interesting how they come out of this. And it really is a shame. At its height, they had 14 locations, mostly throughout greater Cleveland. They're down to 4 right now: Akron, Lakewood, Mentor, one in Columbus. And then there's a pair of local satellite locations, one at Case Western Reserve University and another at Progressive Field.
Yeah, so bankruptcy, obviously it sounds very like doom and gloom, but what does this kind of mean, like, for the future of Melt? Like, they're all going to close right away, or what do you kind of think is going to happen next?
I think the key thing is this is protection. Matt is very, very optimistic in the statement that he issued the media. He's very optimistic that he can keep things going. And I don't have a crystal ball, and nor am I a bankruptcy expert, but this is protection. He does have a lot of creditors. I looked at the bankruptcy filing, which was from June 14th of this year. So it's going to be interesting. I mean, it's a sad thing because it's a local company, it's a food company, and they did really well, but they've just hit some hard times, and it's going to be interesting. But there are a lot of creditors. Those are people who are claiming that Melt owes them for a variety of different reasons. So we're going to have to see what happens.
Yeah, no, it is just crazy to think about that, how big it was, especially when those first years they were opening. It was such a big aspect of the culinary scene in Cleveland, and now it's like, I don't know if people forgot about it a little bit or what it is. It is sad.
Yeah, I kind of wonder how, if I were to talk to him right now, I'd ask him, like, what do you think went wrong, like, or you could have done better, or I don't know how I would phrase it, but I wonder how he sees, like, the trajectory of the business or what he would do differently to avoid.
Well, I mean, restaurants in general, the margin is so like this big, and they say, I don't know what the number is, but so many new restaurants like fail. So I think it is a huge accomplishment that he was able to open so many and stay open for so long. And I don't know, sometimes people just outgrow things. And
that's actually a great point, Alex. The profit margin on restaurants is paper thin. It is really, really small. He has cited multiple times COVID. I mean, that has been a huge thing that still has a residual effect on restaurants and bars that are open, as well as new construction, because the supply chain is still kind of an issue out there. It's tough to say. It's all hindsight. Did he expand too much too fast? I don't know. The interesting thing also is there really aren't that many places that really base their, I don't want to say their entire menu, but much of their existence on grilled cheese, of all things. So I thought that was kind of a good thing. And he had something unique, and it was working. I know that Lockview in downtown Akron is a really, really cool bar with an excellent wine list and an excellent beer list right on Main Street. I really enjoy it. Portions are much smaller. Maybe also it was a portion thing with Melt. They're absolutely monstrous sandwiches. That was part of their stick. So it'll be interesting to see if and when they come out of this.
yeah, no, we gotta keep an eye on Melt, and I guess if go support them if you want to see them stick around.
Yeah,
so
they're one of ours, so we got
one of us.
One of us.
In some brighter news, on the brewery front, you want to talk a little bit about the Kelce brothers getting into the beer scene.
This was another interesting one. And while I was writing this story, all I can think of is the famous shot. It's become a meme of Jason Kelce at a football game, a cold football game. I believe he was cheering on his brother for Kansas City. Jason, I think, was recently retired from Philadelphia, had his shirt off, and he was chugging a beer. And it's just, he looks like a beer drinker.
That's
They
the
both
marketing
look like
right there.
Exactly. So this is kind of interesting. The Kelce brothers are now investors in garage beer. Now, if I understand this right, Braxton Brewing Company is making garage beer. They have 2 beers under the garage beer name. Andrew Sauer, who is a brand marketing person, basically has the garage beer name. Braxton is making it for him. So Covington, Kentucky, Cincinnati, same area. And they got the Kelces involved. Smart move, in my opinion. These guys have a lot of marketing muscle right now in the industry. They are transcending football. I mean, who does not know who Travis Kelce is and Jason Kelce at this point? Of course, they're from Cleveland Heights. They went to school at the University of Cincinnati, and of course, Travis Kelce's girlfriend is pretty famous. So it'll be interesting. In a statement, the beer company Garage Beer said that the Kelces are going to be very involved in this, from brewing, distribution, sales, marketing, national expansion plans. They're already in about a dozen states right now.
Wow.
and doing pretty well. They make 2 beers. They make a light lager and lime. Both are at 4%. These are what we consider, or what people in the industry consider, sessionable beers. So the whole concept of relaxing in your garage after a day of work or whatever, or I always call them lawnmower beers.
Yeah.
And they're 4%, and it's just kind of light,
refreshing,
and that's it. Yeah.
So have you got a chance to try any? What do they taste like?
I have not tried the light lager. I'd like to. I have tried the lime, and it was the lime. The good thing is the lime flavor is definitely there. It's not tart. It's not sweet, but it's a fresh lime taste. Lime is getting really popular right now in a lot of beers.
I like it.
I love it. I mean, especially Mexican lagers, and especially this time of year.
Well, because then, I don't know. I always want to put a lime in. People put limes in Coronas, but I'm always like, I want to put a lime in more beers. Like, you know what I mean?
You like the flavor.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with that. It's refreshing. I found the body a little bit on the thin side, but that didn't mar it for me. I thought it was a pretty good quaffer, and I enjoyed it. And it's kind of funny. This is really one of several beers that have come out paired with an athlete and a brewery, and I think it's a pretty smart thing.
Yeah. What else? Do you have any other examples of?
Well, the famous one in the last few years was 73 Kolsch, which was it is a very good beer, and that's an annual release from Great Lakes Brewing Company. Of course, it's made with the cooperation of Joe Thomas, the former Cleveland Browns and now Hall of Famer, for his jersey number. Kolsch is a lager ale hybrid, very refreshing, slight sweet tinge, another good summer sipper. That is one of my favorite styles. People seem to love Kolsch's. I think I'm surprised we don't see more of them. Years ago, Great Lakes made a beer for Eric Steinbach called the Steinbach, which I always thought was a fun name. And of course, Great Lakes is also making and has another round out now of Rally Drum Ale, a great smooth sipper, and it's a hat tip to John Adams, of course, the traditional drummer in Progressive Field.
I think it's so smart and awesome that celebrities and sports people branch out into other businesses to sort of continue their empire. And with Taylor Swift on his arm, I mean, that's going to be a boost in of itself.
Well, and it's cool they're coming back to Ohio too.
Yeah,
to do it.
Yeah, and I think this is his first business endeavor in Ohio. But
I'm not sure. It seems like he's done a few other things.
I feel like I heard of some clothing brand or something he might have been involved in.
Didn't Donna do something with the wine?
That's right. His mom, Donna, a couple years ago, hooked up a deal with a wine company. So it's, not the family tree is there on that.
Yeah.
But wouldn't it be, that's a great point, Josh, though, wouldn't it be the coolest thing, and what kind of a marketing boost would it be for Garage Beer if Taylor Swift is on stage in one of her many stadium concerts? She takes, I can just imagine this on a runway stage and then just goes like this and cracks a Garage Beer can.
Yeah, that'd be pretty
and
funny.
Says cheers. And it's like, we should all buy stock.
Yeah,
in
and
the company.
she's
Oh,
super
God.
smart. I'm pretty sure she's a billionaire at this point, right? I think
She
so.
has to
She has
be.
to be. So she probably has learned a lot in her journey to becoming what she is. That
She's
she
very
could probably.
She should get a good cut out of that
Yeah.
too. Though, that she knows
She should be a partner, that she
Mhm.
can help with the business. So yeah, I think that's awesome, and especially for them to be Ohio grown boys or guys,
Ohio
men,
grown
Ohio
boys,
grown
like
men,
corn, like
Ohio grown men to come and support another Ohio business. I think it's so smart, especially when you think of the branding that they have in general. It's just a perfect fit. That was the first reaction I had. I'm like, yep, that tracks. That makes perfect sense.
Well, it seems like good timing too with the styles of beers, like you said, very summer, hot weather beers. So, gotta try them out. Maybe before Taylor Swift does. Thanks so much for listening to or watching Dine Drink CLE the podcast. Make sure to like, subscribe, and follow on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube, or wherever you get your podcasts. Follow us on Instagram at DineDrinkCLE and subscribe to our newsletter at cleveland.com/newsletters.